Welcome, everybody, to another exciting edition of the Triple B Experience. Tonight, I am honored to have two guests tonight talking about some stuff that these two individuals are starting to do in the wrestling community. But first and foremost, before we get started, I want to bring on my man, Bobby Potter Piskor. Hey, Bobby, how you doing?
Hey, Bubba, thanks for having me.
Oh, it's a pleasure to have you. And the reason why I got you on, you could tell the masses, what are you doing as of right now, Bobby, in the wrestling world?
So I've retired from in-ring action. No longer am I an active wrestler or referee, but I've taken a step back and have gotten behind the camera and began a photography business. I've just fell in love with it over the last couple of years, and just recently just really started taking it seriously. So my photography has taken me all over the place, and it brought me to some new people and met some old friends along the way. And because of that, we have the show tonight where I was in Cleveland several weeks ago at an AIW show and ran into Bill Alfonso. And I was wearing a custom t-shirt that I had designed for Bruiser Brody. And Fonzie approached me and was like, "Hey, where did you get that shirt?" And I explained to him that I made it. And through one of my students, they have the One True Sports podcast, and they have the official license for Bruiser Brody. So that's how I got that job. And from that, Fonzie and I started talking, and next thing you know, he's booked in St. Louis for the Bruiser Brody Memorial, and we designed a very special t-shirt, but we'll get into that later. So here we are today.
Well, to bring him on, I'm very honored, and I know he's very, very busy. So, Potter, I'll let you introduce him to bring him on.
Ladies and gentlemen, the manager of champions. You know him from ECW. I knew him from the referee world. But ladies and gentlemen, Bill Fonzie Alfonso.
Hey, boys.
Hey, how's it going?
Am I on live with Big Bubba and my boy Bobby?
You're live.
Look
at that. Look at that. Look at that studio you got. Wow.
Thanks, kid. I've heard a lot about your podcast. You do several a week. Pretty cool, man. To keep the people informed. And Bobby, I'm sad that we're losing you outside of the ring, but the photography is great for you. That's what kind of brought us together.
Absolutely, yeah. It's been wonderful.
So how did that turn into what we're doing tonight, guys? Fonzie, can you explain what your concept
Bobby had
is?
a badass shirt on, and I was doing that memorial thing for, there's a famous match. It's called the Lex Luger Bruiser Brody Steel Cage match in Fort Lauderdale, 1987, that I refereed at. And Luger was just a young guy breaking into business, and they had some type of altercation in the ring, and it became famous where Luger climbed over the cage and left because Bruiser Brody wouldn't sell for him, and so on and so on. So and I'm good friends with Barbara, Bruiser Brody's wife. So I knew I was there, and I wanted to design a T-shirt for the big thing in St. Louis last week. By the way, was very successful. Her puts on a hell of a production. There was 20 or 30 of them. Some of my favorite wrestlers of all time were there, including Jerry the King. The list goes on and on. And we came up with this shirt. It's actually the picture of me in the cage refereeing the Bruiser Brody Lex Luger match. And we designed a shirt out of it, and it's pretty cool. And all the profits and stuff 100% went to the Bruiser Brody Foundation.
And
So
can
that's how Bobby and I
and,
got connected, and then
and
we.
Fozzie, is that shirt still be able to sell? Because I know some people actually contacted me to actually buy the shirts, and I sent them
Oh,
straight to Potter and straight to
oh,
you also.
oh
So
yeah, yeah, absolutely. I'm not hard to find on social media. You know, I'm on the X, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Twitter, I'm on Facebook, I'm on all that. But Bobby has a site set up where you can order these fantastic. We'll get into this the famous um, hardcore Legends tour with Van Dam, Sabu, and Fonzie on it. It's a really cool shirt. So you can order it through Bobby or you can order it through me. But Bobby, you'll get it pretty damn quick. You
Yep.
know, just go to his site. We're going to give you all the information during the process of the podcast today. If you don't
Yeah,
yeah,
mind.
because
and let's also thank you, Bubba, for being our sponsor to actually get these shirts down to St. Louis.
well, I was honored when you asked me, and anything that I can try to do to help out. I
That,
also too as a big Brody fan in my day, and I was honored when it came in. It looks great, and I took a picture of it and I put it on my social media, and there it is. I mean, that's a great looking shirt, and it captivates that time of how wrestling was, and you don't get any better with Bruiser on a cover of a shirt. You know what I
this
mean?
was 1987. Can you imagine, guys? That was several decades ago.
I
And
was in high school. I was in high school, Fonzie. I was a young whippersnapper back then.
it's still a main event shirt. You know, it was
I,
pretty damn cool. And
I
thanks
was
for
one.
letting us. Oh yeah, Bobby.
I was 1 year old,
Oh,
just a
oh my
baby.
gosh. So now, do you guys have you guys, Fonzie? I'll ask you first. Have you come up with other concepts for shirts and other stuff, or
Yeah,
is
we're
it?
working on some cool stuff. I got so much history behind me, but I started refereeing in 1978 in Texas for the Funks and for the Binerics and for Tilly Blanchard's dad, Joe Blanchard, and Paul Bosch out of Houston. Then I got my full time break. I got hired full time in Florida Championship Wrestling with Eddie Graham, Gordon Soley, Dusty, and I've been in the business ever since. So I've worked with everybody from Bobo Brazil to Mil Mascaras to Hulk Hogan. Anybody you can name, I've worked with. So we can come up with any type of T-shirts with the guys that I've worked with. It's usually pretty cool, pretty cool. And the latest thing that we worked on was the shirt that I'm wearing and the shirts that are behind me, the Hardcore Legends tour um, with Sabu, who we just lost, and devastating. Hundreds of thousands of people have been reaching out and been all over social media for since May 11th, since we lost Sabu, telling great stories and showing video clips and putting clips together. It's been unbelievable. Probably millions, with the wrestling fans from all over the world have been contacting me, giving me their condolence and so on. And we had a GoFundMe for Sabu. We started, and then one day we raised $50,000, and we stopped right there. The sport,
Wow.
it was incredible how generous the people were, and some of the boys donated some big money. Thanks, Chris Jericho, and several more guys that have donated pretty big. It means a lot. Means a lot to his family and to me.
Yeah, and it's a community that gives no matter what happens when situations like that happen. Because I mean, it all hit us pretty hard, and it always hits every.
Unexpected,
Yeah,
unexpected. We were just we worked together at these WrestleCons all over the country, and we were just in Las Vegas, WrestleMania weekend for successful. They had that big WrestleCon for 3 days, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So I was there with Van Dam and Sabu and several other ECW guys, and also, that Friday night, Sabu had they built the show around Sabu uh, being his last match. And it was in a barbed wire match against Joey. And my God, it was sensational. It was the largest crowd GCW had, sold out, standing room only. And we had a hell of a match. Literally, they built it as his last match. And literally, it was his last match. I was so glad I was there. I'm so glad. Thank you, Brett, for inviting me to be a part of Sabu's ring, that match that night, and I felt pretty special. And I was blessed to be there. My God, you never know when we're gonna go, and I wish I would have spent more time with Sabu, even though I talk to him at a weekly basis and see him all the time. You know,
You just
but
you just you just never know, and you're glad that you got to spend that time that you did, because some people didn't get to spend the time that they wanted to because it happened so abruptly.
we did that match Friday night. Then Saturday and Sunday we finished the WrestleCon, and the following Saturday he was in Philadelphia at the ECW Arena, and I was in at a '90s WrestleCon in New Jersey or something. So I didn't make that one, but he was with Sandman, Shane, Todd Gordon, Francine. Eyes up here, I love Francine. She's got those two big assets that we all like. Uh, but
Those are
so
money makers, from what I hear.
Oh yeah, Moneymaker Daddy. I love Francine. She's one of my favorite people. I'm going to show you a pic of me and Francine in a second. I'm going to show you some cool pics in a few
What
minutes.
what I see, you have a big giant belt. Is that a big belt you got behind you? Is that a belt on the other side? Is that a belt?
Right here.
Right there. Well, right there. And is there one behind you? You got a whole bunch
Uh,
of stuff. You got a lot of
no,
memorabilia.
this is the River City WrestleCon that I've been on a couple times, but I do got a lot of belts. This belt is the one that Van Dam and I had for 2 years in ECW, the television title. the
Oh,
longest
wow.
reigning, the longest reigning television champ in the history. We had it 2 years, 3 months, 14 days, and 16 hours, Daddy. So it's a really nice belt. Ruda Entertainment. This is a replica of Ruda Entertainment, who I'm an executive partner, and they make belts, custom belts. We just made belts for Tito Ortiz, the MMA.
Mm-hmm.
Tito Ortiz, he owns a few restaurants in Naples, Florida. We made some belts for his restaurant. He loved them. We make belts for all kind of people, and they made this for me. They
That's
made this
nice.
belt for me. It's pretty
So,
cool. So I,
so
I
you could
travel
actually
with it.
you could actually get some belts made in this little venture between you and Bobby, and some belts and auction them off. So you could actually do
Oh,
that later on.
absolutely. We did it last year at the Cauliflower Alley. This is the 69th year they've been having a Cauliflower Alley convention in Las Vegas, and I was inducted to the Hall of Fame last
Congratulations.
year, and we made a bunch of these belts, TV belts, and we auctioned them off, and all the money went to Cauliflower Alley. It's a fundraiser, when things happen like. Say there's a hurricane and somebody's house gets blown away, Cauliflower Alley steps in and helps them financially, or somebody passes, they help them financially, or anything like that. Because Cauliflower Alley's been, I'm so glad I was a part of that. So anyway, we made several belts and donated them to Cauliflower Alley. And I'm there this year again, not getting inducted. I was in the Hall of Fame last year, but you know, uh, it's a big production. It's a 3-day production. You guys, if you haven't been, you guys should check it out.
That's on my bucket list to go check out the
Mine
Cauliflower
too.
Alley. I've always wanted to. Now this is more of a reason for me with the photography business and being able to just hang
Oh
out
yeah,
with the
you love
boys.
it. Big
Oh,
names that usually come. I got inducted with the guys like Sting, Lex Luger, the Steiners, Jim Ross, uh, um,
The
and
who's
several
who.
others.
Wow.
what a group there.
Yeah, it was
And
a
you
great
go
group.
and you go every year, Fonzie, every year, and you
No,
do
last
something.
year was my first year. It
Oh,
was my
wow.
first
Okay.
year. I'm not gonna miss any, and I'm gonna go from now on. I'm gonna go from now on. Uh, and the guys that were Brian Blair, who's a dear friend of mine who lives in Tampa. A lot of us live here in Tampa Bay. He's one of the presidents as a couple big shot in the Cauliflower Alley. So Brian's a good friend of mine, and he invited me to get inducted, and no turning back. I'm in.
So
Absolutely.
so since you got inducted last year, do you see yourself doing a little bit more and helping Cauliflower Alley do a little bit more with your charities and stuff like
It's
that?
an ongoing process. Yes, it's a fundraising process, and all the money goes to the boys. Some of the boys who need help and we give it to him. Like Knobs from the Nasty Boys, he needed help because he was hospitalized and he didn't have any income coming in, and the cauliflower helped him out to a certain extent. There's many stories of us of Cauliflower Alley helping out, and any donations are deeply appreciated. That's why I did the belt thing, though, because I'm affiliated with Root Entertainment, the belt company, uh, and we make custom belts.
I think that's just lost upon society. Is there just needs to be more help for others, and I just think it's such a great opportunity to pay it forward and help those who actually need it.
Yeah, you got to remember we're not unionized. We don't, we're self-employed, so we're basically on our own. But given the fact that we make a lot of money, when you're on the road, when you're working for WCW, Ted Turner, or Vince McMahon, WWF, and WWE, you're making a big paycheck, so you can afford to fly yourself around, put yourself in a nice hotel, pay your house off, and this and that. But some guys aren't frugal with their money, and they go through it, and then that's when they get into trouble and look for a helping hand, and that's why Cauliflower Alley's been so successful. 69 years they've been doing this. Can you imagine?
That's amazing.
Yeah, and they helped a lot of guys because a lot of guys,
Oh, a ton of guys. Yeah,
just
women, guys, anybody
yeah,
who does
everybody in the
the
business.
wrestling. Yeah.
Even like referees, they help referees too,
Oh yeah.
and
Oh
okay,
yeah.
everything production guys and stuff, and yeah, that's awesome because like Potter said, a lot of people don't help people, and this is the only to me this is the only way that people can help is in the wrestling community, like doing a show or doing something like you and Potter are doing with these shirts and stuff like that. It's just added to the show, but it's more than just a show. It's something we all love, but it also helps a lot of people out.
Right. I can tell you guys love the business just like I do. It's in my blood. Just like I can tell, Bubba, you're doing your podcast weekly, and
Thank you.
Bobby, you're doing all kind of stuff, great stuff, and legitimately, you don't know where some of the money's at. These fundraisers, we don't know where the money's going, but um, Cauliflower Alley is documented to be one of the best uh, fundraisers and give back to the boys known to mankind. They're really good. They're really good. And they document all this stuff. They're totally legal and bonded and licensed and all kind of stuff.
I just love the idea of being able to pay it forward, like that when we did the Bruiser design. Bruiser is one of the guys that made me believe pro wrestling. There's only been one other person like that, and that was Sabu. So like being able to do two shirts now have been like a dream come true for me.
And you've done these shirts very quickly too. It's that you
Well,
designed them very quickly. So what's the process on when you guys design these shirts?
so when Fonzie and I were talking about the Bruiser Brody shirt, we had just a simple conversation, and I literally went home that weekend and just went right to work. I waste no time. If it's in my head,
I know that about you, but
yeah. I don't want to mess around. I just want to get it done.
Bobby and I were back and forth on the shirt just for a
Mhm.
few different observations and changes. What do you think about that? And we worked
Yep.
really good together. This is what we came up with. This fabulous shirt.
Yep.
It's just great. People loved them.
oh,
Mhm.
And
and he
100%
contacted me,
everybody.
Fonzie. He contacted me, and I don't think I hesitated longer. Maybe it was 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh, that
It
was
wasn't
very
long at
kind of
all.
you. Very, very generous of you,
Well,
Bubba, to do that.
it's something that like I said, it's about respect. And I know times are tough for everybody with the money and stuff like that. And I'm glad that I had it to actually do it and I could actually help out. Because I mean, to me, I was very honored, and I did not know I didn't know nothing about the logo of I did not know that. So I was thrilled when I got the package in the mail and I opened it up, and I showed my wife and I'm like, oh my God, you guys didn't have to do that. And I do appreciate that, but it's not about, wasn't about me. It's about trying to help out. And I do appreciate that. So thank you.
And the shirt was fabulous, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. I wore it around the house, and I keep it like in pristine condition but I will take it to some shows and stuff like that because it just, and the shirts you got behind you, they look key too. And then Did you come up with that design, Fonzie, for for that?
Bobby and I did. Bobby and I did. Well, we talked about it. Well, I was telling you that Sabu, after the Bob Wire match in Las Vegas, uh, that weekend, the WrestleMania weekend. Then he had an appearance at WrestleCon and at the ECW arena. So he called me that Sunday, a week before he passed, and said, "Fonzie, they built it as my last match, but I got one more in me. I got one more in me, and I want to do it in Japan." I said, well, he said, "What do you think?" I said, "I think that's a great idea. If you got one more in you and you want to put it out there, okay, I'm your guy. Let's do it." And then I started thinking about a shirt, and it was going to be the same shirt, but it was going to say Hardcore World Tour instead of Legends Tour. But we changed it because we lost him that Sunday, the next Sunday.
Right.
We never got a chance to go to. Well, we've been to Japan many times, and he got married there. Van Dam and I were at his wedding in Tokyo, and so was his uncle, the Sheik. Uh, so we changed it to the Legends Tour. Unfortunately, Sabu passed. So instead of World Tour, and people love it. People love the shirt. I think it's a dope ass shirt.
And
Really
it
nice.
looks great. It looks great. I saw it today. I shared it on my social media, and anytime
Thank you.
that you guys have something, believe me, I try to share it on my social media, as much as I can. And then I did the Bruiser shirt on one of my podcasts. I showed everybody the design of that one, and so that's two shirts you guys have together. What maybe is the third or the stuff in the future between you guys? Or you can't say. I understand.
You just
No,
never.
we can talk. We can talk. Well, depending, like I'm doing, there's a big WrestleCon in November in Long Island, New York. We're gonna make a special shirt for that. There's another one that is in Florida. Barry Rhodes does it. It's all about the wrestlers who are gonna be there. It had to be in WrestleMania. And I was on WrestleMania. I was in WrestleMania 9.
That's my
Uh,
favorite WrestleMania, by the way.
The
excuse me.
Vegas one, the outside one in Vegas.
WrestleMania 9 was
Oh
my
yeah,
favorite
yeah,
one.
yeah. I did the Undertaker and Giant Gonzalez,
Mhm.
which was pretty cool. So we're probably gonna make something along those lines. The WrestleMania that I was on, of course, WrestleMania 9. I missed WrestleMania 8. I came into WWF right after 8. I did 9, and I left before 10 and went to ECW, which was a great move. Thank you, Paul Heyman, for bringing me in. I had a good run with Taz for a minute. Uh, the good run with Taz and Van Dam and Sabu, of course. Uh, and that's why I'm still working almost every weekend. I'm working almost every weekend now because I was a 5-star international Tokyo Dome, Ric Flair and Fujinami, 65,000 people sold out, did the main event. Uh, it's because of
Wow.
ECW that I'm still working all the time.
Well, and you could talk a little bit about that. That is in your soul and in your blood. That time and period of ECW was something that sparked everybody, I think, as a fan growing up. And I was a little older than Potter, but it was something that you never saw before in professional wrestling history. It was something that you
Yeah, it
saw
was
it,
all
you were hooked.
unique, all new, all unique to all of us. And Paul Heyman had this vision, and my part was easy because I just left WWF, and Vince McMahon wants the doctor, his wife, and the 2 kids at ringside. ECW's clientele was 95% men the age of 19 to 27, hardcore. They wanted the violence, and I came in to be anti ECW, try to tone it down and make it more like WWF. And people wanted to fucking kill me because I was ruining their high. And originally I was supposed to come in for 4 weeks and get choke slammed by 911, and then I was out. But my character took off, and Paul Heyman thought it'd be a good idea to put me with Taz, which was a great move. And thank you, Taz. Uh, and I was with Taz for a minute, but he didn't need me because he could talk, he could do promos, he did this, and who better than put me with, and suicidal, homicidal, genocidal Sabu, who didn't talk much, and I was a great mouthpiece, and they put us together with Van Dam, and man, we just paired together so well, and it worked out for us fantastic.
You
And
guys had such great chemistry.
yeah, we were ECW. If you mention ECW, you're gonna mention, Tommy Dreamer, Sandman, Sabu, RBD, Taz, those guys.
That's the top. That to me, that's the top, and then add the franchise a little bit. But the guys
Oh,
you
yeah,
mentioned to me are the,
franchise.
just it was something. And even when you guys like did that little invasion angle on Raw that time, that
Yeah,
was something. You know what I mean? So you guys get uh cheered no matter what company or wherever you're at. There's always an ECW chant when one of you guys come out in on the screen. There's no doubt about it. I
it's
mean,
crazy that ECW still has a cult like following. It's crazy. I get kids coming up to me like, Bobby, you were 1 years old, back in uh, you were young kids. So I get young people coming up to me all the time. I said, you weren't even born. What year were you born? Oh, I was born in '97. I said, damn, but how do you watch? Well, from Peacock, you watch everything on Peacock, and it's amazing.
uh-oh.
We lost his audio.
Oh no. Hold on. There it is. I need to get like
Okay, sorry about
there
that.
we go. No, that's okay. I'm gonna try to get you to where
That
I can
was
get you
Todd
on the
Gordon trying
screen.
to call me.
There we go.
That was
There we
Todd
go.
Gordon trying to call me. He turned out to be one of my, my best friends are in life is Todd Gordon, Sandman, Sabu, RVD. I talk to those guys so much. It's crazy. Uh, well, we see each other so much on the road. We're like family. My wife, she understands it, but she doesn't. Like I was just with Shane this past weekend in the '90s WrestleCon in New Jersey, and we shared the same table. Oh, we were in St. Louis together too. We did fabulous, fabulous. I love Shane, and I hadn't seen him for a few months, and when I seen him, it's just like we never left each other.
Well, isn't that how it goes though? I mean, when you guys see
Yes,
each other on the road, it's like you never left.
yes, 100%. Yeah, it's
So
amazing.
now, now you guys are doing this, and now you have told you've got a lot of rapport and a lot of response from the second shirt you have on that you're selling, and we're gonna plug it. I'll plug it into podcast where everybody can actually order it and stuff like that, and get it out there. And you
Yeah,
guys
that's
have a
where
lot.
Lonnie's going to come in.
You have a lot more. So um, anything else besides the shirts and maybe the belt, or do you have other ideas that could be lucrative for the charities?
Well, I do, since I was a big part of ECW, I make a couple of different ECW. I'm going to show you right now, get up and show you some of the cool jackets that I make.
Okay.
ECW jackets uh, uh, and backpacks and stuff like that.
Oh wow. Okay.
Pretty cool backpacks and relatively inexpensive and all high quality stuff. Like, look at this Reebok long sleeve, beautiful uh, um, deal. And I make all these jackets, and uh, ECW
Wow.
jackets and all
I
nice
see, Potter. You're
stuff.
gonna have to start, expanding your designs and stuff like
Right?
that. Looks like
Absolutely.
Really, really, really nice stuff that I
now,
do.
now everything Fozzy is on your website. Everything that you sell is on your website.
No, usually what I do is I make these and I take them to the WrestleCons that I do, or I take them
Okay.
to events that I do, and you can get them right off the merchandise table. But since Bobby and I hooked up, we're expanding now. He's going to be carrying a lot of this stuff, and um, of course the T-shirts and look at the Andre shirt.
Jeez.
You know,
You have a lot of. You have a.
it's a
Wow.
pretty
That's
some
this is a podcast just going inside your studio.
so some pretty cool stuff. And I go back with Andre. This picture of me and Andre was taken in 1981 at the Miami Beach Convention Center. I was in my very early 20s. I had some hair back then.
Oh man, I
But
need to
we
get that
got
in.
we got pretty cool stuff. We got pretty cool stuff. Do you guys know we were in High Times magazine?
No, I did not know that, but it doesn't surprise me now. But
Well, they approached Van Dam because he's a big advocate for the 420 for pod, and we were featured. We had a 3-page spread in the High Times magazine.
oh, that's awesome.
Of course,
Wow.
it's me,
Oh, there's
Sabu,
nothing
and
wrong with
Ben.
that. Hey, I'm
No,
older now. I sometimes I got to take a
it's
little bit of something, to be able to walk.
it's just great. It's great, and it's legal in half the country now.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
It's medical is always good because sometimes I can't tie my shoes, from taking all the bumps when I was younger, and
right?
my body's beat to hell. I'm Potter. Your body's probably just the same.
Oh yeah, yeah. I could throw my back out at any second of the day. So
Just
I love
I could
this
do it from
thing.
sneezing.
I love this thing. It's like a TV set. It shows different pictures every 3 or 4 seconds. It shows a picture. They're great to take to WrestleCons because it gets people's attention, and they sit there and look at all the different pictures. There's hundreds. Look, there's Ox Baker and Fonzie.
Wow,
There's WrestleMania 9.
that's what you just
Diane
talked about 5 minutes
Gonzalez.
ago.
There's
Holy heck!
Sting. There's Sting and Fonzie in Japan. There's RVD. The list goes on and on and on and on. And it's pretty cool conversation piece. Uh, and Brian Cage with the big ass arms. There's Nature Boy Ric Flair. Uh,
Wow,
there's
this
just
is
so
like a
much.
museum.
Well, I've been a, remember, we're working on over 4 decades. There's Scott Hall. God bless him, Scott Hall, Fonzie. Uh, It just keeps showing some cool stuff. Oh, this is at the London Heathrow Airport. Here's a picture right here. The London Heathrow Airport. We're on tour. Let me see if I can. You guys see this? Okay. Let me see if I can give you some names in there. Okay, there's Red Rooster, Jim Duggan. There's Yokozuna. There's Hogan, and there's Fonzie right next to Hogan. There's Horace Boulder, Bastion Booger. Uh, the Samoans, the Steiners, Owen Hart, Bam Bam Bigelow, Jimmy
That's
Hart.
that's a ton there.
Yeah, that's at the London Heathrow Airport. We did 7 cities and 5 countries in 7 days.
wow.
Wow.
That was for WWF
Just
back
doing
in the
like
day.
just doing like an independent show once a month is crazy. You guys are doing. Oh my god! It was a different time then, and it was a great time.
Yeah,
And
5 countries and 7 cities in 7 days was incredible.
I
I used to yell at my parents. I'm like, why couldn't you have me 15 years earlier?
oh, I remember that picture there. I remember that picture. That was that the Thunder in Paradise picture or something?
That's on the set of Thunder in Paradise, the TV show that Hogan had for a couple of years. We're on one of the episodes, uh, and I tried to sell it to Starbucks. I met a guy. I was traveling from Tampa to Los Angeles, and I was sitting in first class. The guy next to me was a Starbucks rep or something like that, and I showed him this picture. I said, "Look, you can order a Fonzie, a Hogan, or a Giant Gonzalez, larger than the largest." And he loved the idea, but nothing ever came of it. But that's a pretty cool pick. I love that pick.
They
Remember
missed the
that?
mark on that one.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
Yeah, we thought it was interesting and kind of funny. Here's some of my cards. Let's see, there's Rick Rude and Fonzie. There's
Wow.
Dusty and Fonzie. There's Brian Pillman slamming Flair off the top rope. Of course, Fonzie refereeing. There's a famous match. Um, Fujinami and Ric Flair, Tokyo Dome, 65,000 people. Of course, there's me and Andre again, and it's all kind of cool stuff that I've collected throughout the years. And I'm in a lot of video games, and people draw stuff of us. There's a great picture that
Oh,
somebody
that's nice.
Oh,
conjured up. Somebody drew that for me. I thought it was great. They presented it with me. I gave one to Van Dam and Sabu. They loved it. Um, just all kind of cool pics and
You
literally
got one hell of a
thousands.
studio, Fozzie. One hell of a studio.
Well, this is my office. This is,
Office. Wow,
it's
that's
all, I'm caged up in this room that my wife, she's not a big wrestling. She hates it when I have all my wrestling stuff scattered throughout the house. She says, you go back and we're going to make you an office. And this is what we came up with. Uh, and I do all my podcasts like I'm doing your podcast here. So it makes it interesting for people
oh yeah, it
that,
does. It's very you
to
have
talk,
so much
talk
stuff.
about. We can talk about Wahoo McDaniel and Kevin Sullivan.
Jeez. Let's hear a story about those two. How many matches did you referee with those two?
Oh, tons of matches with those two, and it made the cover. There's a cover of Bill Apter's magazine. I'm on so many covers of magazines, it's crazy. Uh, uh, Wahoo was great, man. Wahoo was great. So I was refereeing the match between Wahoo McDaniel and Sergeant Slaughter, and the finish was Sergeant Slaughter gets him going, rolls out of the ring, grabs the belt. He's going to roll back in the ring and hit Wahoo McDaniel. But Wahoo stopped him, grabbed the belt, and I was behind Slaughter. He goes to hit Slaughter. Slaughter moves. He hits the referee, which is me. I disqualify Wahoo McDaniel. But Wahoo couldn't see me because Slaughter was so big and I'm small. So he was swung the belt. Slaughter moved, busted me open. They had to rush me to the hospital, and I got 60 stitches and staples in my forehead
Oh my God.
from the belt. Whacked me open, uh, unconscious. They had to rush me to the hospital. It was pretty cool.
I guess. Wow.
But it made the match. You know what I mean? The blood
Right,
and
right,
guts.
right.
You guys remember the famous Beulah Fonzie match?
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'll never forget that
In
one.
Philadelphia, we almost bled to death.
Yeah, that was
They had to
bloody.
rush me to the hospital. Uh, so that's a pretty cool match that I get asked about all the time. Uh, there's when ECW went to Tokyo, which was pretty cool. That's where Van Dam and I were the best men at Sabu's wedding in Japan. There's a famous Bruiser Brody match. There's all my hats and stuff. There's so much swag and stuff in here. We
There's a
can go
lot of
on and
swag.
on. On my phone, I got like 7,000 pictures. Uh,
You got a lot
and
of memory.
on my phone, yeah. Well, I got 40 something years. Look, there's the
Well,
great
how
Sabu.
many whistles? How many whistles do you have?
Well, I've had tons of them, tons of them. And here's one right here. I got a couple of real nice ones that I use in the ring, real high dollar, stainless steel whistles. But then, of course, we make them and package them up and sell them too.
Right.
Here's one of the ones that we
Was
sold. They did
was that
really
your
good.
idea? Was that your idea about the whistle when you
Oh
did
yeah,
that?
no, no, that was Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman came up with the whistle idea. And I'm glad he did because if you don't know my name, oh, that's that motherfucker who blew the whistle, But everybody knows my name, kinda. And this was a big seller. This one was packaged nice. It looks like Mattel Toys made it, packaged really nice. And this was a big seller. I think I bought 1,000 of them, sold 700, and gave 300 of them away to the kids and stuff. But it's a big seller. The whistles are a good seller, you
Oh
know.
yeah, everybody's parents hate it when the kids got it because they don't ever.
Right, and yeah,
Yeah.
nobody really opens them up. You know what I mean? They just keep them for a souvenir, Uh, but they're pretty cool. They're pretty cool to have, and I've sold quite a bit of them. It's a moneymaker, like the jackets and stuff. Everybody sells T-shirts, but
Uh
nobody sells jackets and nobody sells whistles.
no.
I'm
No.
uh, and so I have a good time designing the jackets and stuff, and coming up with the backpack details. So like, and all my stuff's quality. Like this tailor made, the golf company with a nice ass fucking $100 backpack. You know,
Oh,
with the
Potter,
ECW.
that's going to be all in your repertoire. It looks like you guys
Yeah, the
you guys can come
ECW.
up with some big ideas.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. And I'm working enough to justify all this merchandise. These jackets to be gone. Then let's see this one. There's about 15 jackets right here that I just got shipped in the last couple of days, and they will be gone in a month or less. A WrestleMania week in Las Vegas, I sold 18 jackets in
Wow.
the 3 days at WrestleCon, and they're $200 a piece. Not everybody's got $200 a piece, but they're nice jackets. I think PayPal and I've given quite a few away to people who deserve them.
What
You know,
sizes do you have of jackets, Fozzie?
well, I got this. This is you're a big kid, right?
Well, I try to be small, but yeah, I'm a big kid. Yeah, I'm about a 3.5X. I'm a big boy.
Uh,
Uh-oh. I mean, it looks good. We lost him again. His audio. He's like a salesman, Potter. He's
Yep.
he's going around and selling. We can't hear you. There we go.
Okay, how about now?
You're good. Yeah, well, you're good now.
Okay,
You're good now.
so this is Under Armour. It's a hoodie. Really nice. The color's very hot. It's got the ECW logo on it. And it's a 3X. And it's the
Well, I gotta shed
3X.
I gotta shed some weight because I haven't been doing anything lately but eating.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Me too. I leave and I lose a few pounds. I come back and gain it right back. So
Yeah,
I got something that'll fit you, and I'll give you something that costs. You know what I mean?
I hear you. I hear you.
You just let me know when you're ready, and I'll ship it out to you. You just
I
PayPal me a couple
appreciate
of
it.
bucks, and
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, I
it
mean,
doesn't
I'm.
have to be this one, but this is the two. I have two of these on hand right now. Triple X.
And
Uh,
what size shirts do you have with the Legend Tour? What sizes do you have to
I
let
have
everybody know?
L, XL, and double X.
We can go all
Uh,
the way up to a 5X
yeah,
online.
but
So
you guys
Okay,
order from Bobby. You guys go on his site and order from Bobby. He'll make you any size you want. If we
yep,
don't have them in stock, he'll make them right away.
yep,
You
okay.
don't have to wait long. We get it out within 2 days.
yep, yep. You'll get it as soon as possible.
Oh, I got that Bruiser Brody shirt real quick.
Yep.
I was like, wow. But yeah, I
Oh,
mean,
it's
I'm
my
glad you
friend.
got one of those. I'm glad
I,
you
I
got
and
one of
I'm glad.
those.
Like I said, I'm glad. I'm very honored. And like I said, I'll pump it all up, and I'll tell the community, the wrestling community, about what you guys are doing, because it sounds like it sounds real great, and I do love the charity stuff, and it's going for it's going for a good cause, and it's what I mean, and it's just
Well,
it's
it's
something
not
that you
all
guys
charity. It's not all charity. Like a vast majority goes to charity, like the Bruiser Brody shirts, all that 100% charity. Uh, but some of the jackets that I make, uh, I make a living doing this.
right, right.
So I'm profiting a small amount, and people getting their money's worth. They love the jackets. I'm not getting rich, but I'm providing a great service. So not 100% is all charity. Just want to make that clear.
Okay.
But a large majority is.
Mhm.
Large majority is.
Well, I like the shirt design that you have about the Legends tour, and those will probably go very very fast, or
Yeah,
you might
Oh
already
yeah,
sell out.
yeah. I think Bobby and I made 100 of them, and we sold like 90 of them already. So we got a few.
Wow.
We got a few
Okay.
more, and we're making another order, and we're
yep,
making them as we go too. Bobby has a system where, we don't get stuck with 100 shirts sitting in a closet for 6 months. We
Right.
make them as we go, and he's got a process where his wife's got a great facility, and she cranks them out, man. She
Oh,
cranks them out.
so your other half does the shirts?
yep. We're going through with her business. We're going
Uh huh.
through her printer, and we're doing them
Okay.
all through them. So yeah,
Yeah, she's marvelous. I love her already.
it's been wonderful. It's a
Yeah,
partnership here.
she's
Well,
very good.
it's a great partnership. It seems like it's spectacular, and
The quality's great.
I
That's
wish you
it.
guys the best. I mean, yeah, that shirt is awesome. And ladies and gentlemen, it fits me, and I'm a big guy, and it fit me, and it was roomy enough, and it looked good.
It's
What
nice.
So
size was yours?
mine, I think, was a 3X. Mine was
Okay.
a 3X, and it was good, you know. But it's just so I'm just so honored. I got to pick and choose where I want to wear that at because it's a one of a kind shirt. It's not like you can go to any type of clothing place and go buy this shirt. This
No,
is a
you can't
special
buy
shirt.
these on pro wrestlers tees and anywhere. You can only buy it from us.
Have
That's
they
right.
said anything? Have they said anything about these shirts trying to get them to pro wrestling tees? You're like, no.
No, they've approached me. We like to do it. We like doing our own thing. And if the pro wrestling tees wants to do something with us, yes, they can design a shirt for us. Yes, we're all in. All in. You know, I'm not afraid to spread the wealth.
Nice.
Uh, and
But
speak
the wealth is
speaking
going to you. I mean, you guys
speak
are,
speaking of Francine, is my
yeah.
girl. Look, she's doing graffiti. She's spraying my name on the wall. I love that. I get to see her every morning.
Well, that's what I said. I mean, those are money makers,
Right, that could be a great shirt right there. You know.
right? Yeah, that on
Uh,
a black shirt right there.
oh yeah, me and the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, baby. He
So
gave me
you could
my
have
first full-time job.
any of your pictures right there in the shirts.
Oh
Any.
yeah,
Oh my God, you could have thousands and thousands of shirts.
you know
Just
I was on the first Monday Night Raw ever broadcasted.
I do know that.
Hmm.
Great, and Marty Jannetty and uh, Shawn Michaels. We did the belt switch.
Yeah. So every picture that you have in your office, you can make a shirt of it.
Yep, we could definitely
That
do something.
Well,
wow, that
well,
is
well,
that
well, look,
that's something right there.
you guys know the famous Rivera Steakhouse in Japan, right?
Yep.
I
You
do.
guys seen the jackets and stuff. So there's Bubba Dudley, Devon Dudley, Shane Douglas, Fonzie, Sabu, and Tommy Dreamer. We all got the jackets on. We're just coming out. We just had a fabulous steak dinner, and they gave us all jackets. That's when we went over there for the ECW tour. We did a couple of dates, and Van Dam got married. I mean, Sabu got married there. Sorry, Van Dam. Uh, and Van Dam recently got married too to Katie. She's one of the most top 10 most beautiful girls on the planet. I love Katie. But that's a cool pick. That's a
That
cool
could
How
be a
pick.
many,
that could be a shirt right there.
Oh
Fonzie?
yeah,
How many Ribera jackets do you have?
zero, zero. I sold mine off my back. Somebody offered me $500. I said sold.
Wow.
You know, they gave it to me. I'll go back when I go back. I've been to Japan 13 times, and I love it. Tokyo is one of my favorite cities.
I had an opportunity and I never went over for that US tour and I didn't it fell
You need
through,
to
but
get your ass over there. It's
oh,
pretty
I'm
unique.
retired, Fuzz. I'm
Pretty,
retired. I
pretty,
I I
pretty
would love
unique.
to, but it just didn't pan out for me. But yeah, I
It's
know what
it's
that
on my
jacket's all about.
it's on my list of places to go.
Yeah, I love it. I love Tokyo.
Oh
I love
wow.
Tokyo. What
So
else can we
hey,
talk
before
about?
before we get out of here, you
Hey,
guys, how
don't
much?
wrap me up, Daddy. We can
Oh,
talk all night
okay,
long, boy.
okay,
Don't
I
wrap
won't, I
me up,
won't,
Daddy.
I won't, I
Okay,
won't.
no, we can wrap me up because hey, I
No.
want to come on again and
Oh, I want.
we'll pick a
I would love to have
specific.
you on. I would love to have you on all the time, Foz. I
Well, I
think.
might be a regular customer then. If we get some good ratings and people like us and want us to come back on, we can pick
Okay.
something out and talk about. Like we can talk about. Did you guys know I was a personal assistant for the largest athlete on the planet for 3 years?
No.
John
Giant.
Gonzalez, he needed a guy, a handler, so they picked me. They asked me
Oh.
would I take care of John Gonzalez. They paid me extra, and they rented a Cadillac. I was with him 365 days a year for 3 years, traveling the world. I got some great stories about him. We're saving them for the podcast for the next time I'm on. We can talk about how the Steiners saved my life in Japan. And then speaking of Japan, we can talk about uh, my man, one of the best big men in the business.
I agree. I agree with you on that. I totally agree
What
I
with you on that.
one man gang. Uh, uh, a few good big guys, but he was one of them. This kid right here was
Yeah,
one of them.
Bam Bam can move too. He was really good in the
Oh
ring.
my God, yeah. I don't know if you guys remember Crusher Blackwell.
I
hmm
do.
You know, another big man that you could drop kick. A one man gang was spectacular. So we can talk about any specific wrestlers and stuff, and uh, Kwamala and Jimmy Hart and Sting and Van Dam and all these cool people. Talk about George Foreman, who we just lost. God bless him. Uh, he came to WrestleMania 9 and we hit it off, and I put him over. And the next thing you know, I told him, I said, "Oh, my mom loves the George Foreman grill." Next thing you know, he sent 25 every size you can think of the George Foreman grills to my mom. uh, Natalie Coleman, Natalie Cohen. You remember Carol Alt? She's a supermodel. She
hmm
was one of the sidekicks of Hulk Hogan at Thunder in Paradise. So when I filmed our episode with Jack Gonzalez, I met her and got to hang out with her, Carol Alt. She's badass. So we got so many cool things to talk about, like
Thank you.
the High Times magazine, and all kind of
You're
cool
you're
stuff
you're
like
you
that.
in your you're a podcast in itself. Like
Okay,
you
Daddy.
you tell me you have a podcast. Tell me you do your own
I do
podcast.
have a podcast,
Good.
and I was just on. We were celebrating. I had Van Dam and Sabu on, and we talked for 2 hours. We couldn't stop. We were scheduled for an hour, but we couldn't stop. We did a 2 hours and 20-minute podcast, and we had 10 or 15,000. Well, I don't know what the rate was, but we had a good audience. Van Dam does one weekly. He's got
He,
100,000 viewers,
yeah, he does it
and
with
Dominic.
Dominic. Yeah,
Yeah,
Dominic's a
that's who
really good
does
guy.
mine. That's who does
Okay.
mine. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a rub off from Dominic and Van Dam. They rubbed me off, and
Yeah.
they Van Dam thought it'd be a good idea for me to have my
Yeah,
own.
the Angelo brothers.
Yeah,
They're
oh yeah.
podcasters
Uh,
extraordinaire.
I
I
was
uh,
like they're up here. I'm like way below them, but I love their quality of stuff, and they're really
Shout
good
out to
guys.
Dominic, who's very cool, and I talk to him on a weekly basis. Um, and yeah, he was spectacular, man. He was spectacular. He did a lot of help with the GoFundMe for Sabu. He was behind it and was getting it all set up and stuff. And he's a great guy. And his brother, who I like too a lot, he loves the business. These guys love the wrestling business.
Oh yeah.
I can take
Love the
credit
wrestling
for
business.
training Marcus and Dom.
Yeah, Marcus is badass.
I was just
Well,
with them both on Friday in Cleveland, so it was great to
they
see those guys.
I
They're
was supposed to be there. I was supposed to be
Marcus's
there.
promos are phenomenal.
no, they're
His
fantastic.
promos are just out of this world, and he's got a little over a year.
Right?
Right. He's green.
Yeah,
But he's a
yeah,
natural. He's a
yeah.
natural.
And
Yep.
his brother's escorting him out on the 22nd.
I heard.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
great.
I'm a little
I'm
excited.
I think I'm going to be there on that one. I know I'm there in June. In June, the next June show in Cleveland, I'm on it.
Sweet.
Nice.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
wish I could go to that.
usually I manage Matthew Justice, so I'm not sure if he's going to be there or not. But
Sure.
and I manage the two other guys, the tank champs,
Yeah,
Marino and
Philly Collins.
yep, yep, badass. Yeah, this is
Nice.
something that somebody made me. Some toy company thought it'd be a good idea. They like my outfits, because so they made me, with my Sabu outfit and pointing up like Sabu does. Pretty cool. We can talk about so much stuff. So I can
Oh,
do
most
several
definitely.
podcasts with you throughout, especially like in the afternoon like this. We cut cut them
Well,
because
that and anytime you guys got something to promote, believe me, let me know. And you
Oh,
guys can,
nice. Thank you,
yeah,
brother.
yeah. No, you
Thank you.
guys got an open format to promote your any type of shirts or anything you guys got. Because once you come on my show, I know Potter's been on my show a couple times, and anything he got, I like to promote and I do it on social media. So Fonzie, I will definitely promote
And we're
all you got going
legitimate.
on.
We're legitimate.
I know, I know, I know, I know. That shirt that I got, the Bruiser Brody shirt, is
Yeah.
legit. It's good, and I give it both thumbs up. And I, like I said, I was very honored to do what I could do, but I did not think that I was going to get my logo on that shirt. I
I
wasn't.
didn't know
It
you
wasn't worried. I was just wanting to help. That's all.
I didn't know you were the sponsor, so thank you again for doing that.
No,
Very cool.
No,
Yeah.
thank you.
We had to do that. I mean, you helped us out tremendously. So,
But I'm the kind of person, I don't expect that, Potter. I just do it because I want to do it.
sure.
You know what I mean? And that's
Absolutely.
the kind
No,
of person
we're
I am.
very grateful of you for that. I wanted to share 2 Sabu stories. I know,
Okay.
Fonzie, you wanted me to come on your show
Yes.
last week, but my schedule just didn't allow me to at the time. But I wanted to share these stories with you.
Thank you.
I met Sabu so many times over the years. I've been, in the wrestling business. Yesterday was my 24th year in the business.
Wow,
So
congratulations, Bobby.
thank you. The first time I met Sabu, he was the NWA World Champion. He came into Pittsburgh, and he wasn't too pleasant to deal with. And as a fan, he was a little standoffish, and I get it. However, later on in my career, I was fortunate enough to be flown to Doncaster, England,
Wow.
to compete my first tour, and I was scheduled to referee Sabu's matches that weekend. And the first match that he had was with Corey Graves from WWE.
I know Corey.
He was wrestling as Sterling James Keenan at the time. It was an easy, simple match. That night, I was the second referee for the main event. The main event was Jeff Jarrett and AJ Styles for the NWA World Title.
Double J.
Yeah. Referee for the first ref was AEW referee Bryce Remsburg.
Yep.
He was taking a bump. I was going to be the second ref coming out to make the next count, and then I would take a bump in that match. Sabu is in Gorilla, peeking through the curtain, watching the match. So I'm standing there trying to peek through the curtain as well. And he asked me, he's like, referee, he's like, you got a spot in this match? I'm like, yeah, I do. He's like, what's the spot? And I told him. He's like, all right, I'll let you know when I see it. About 30 seconds later, he's like, ref, get ready. Go, 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 go. And he starts sending me. I'm running through the curtain. Next thing I know, I feel somebody pull me back through the curtain, and it was Sabu just laughing hysterically. He's like, you dumb motherfucker. He's like, it wasn't your cue. He's like, don't ever listen to me.
I love it. I love it.
So then night 2, he's in the main event. It's him and Ulf Herman against.
Oh, I know Ulf Herman. He's a big guy.
Very big from Germany.
Yeah.
Yep. So it's Ulf and Sabu versus Sterling and Abyss in a survival of the sickest match.
Wow.
And they had barbed wire, they had thumbtacks, they had tables, they had fire, they had all of it. So the finish involved thumbtacks and a table. So I'm counting the pin. Sabu's getting pinned in the thumbtacks, and I'm counting 1, 2. On the third one, as I count down, I start selling my hand. And I can see Sabu looking at me, and I started picking thumbtacks out of my hand. And after the match, and like the fans in the front row were like, oh my God, look at him. Like they're pointing, and it's on film. They're pointing. They're like, look at the referee. We get to the back afterwards, and I'm, just like everything, I thank everybody for the opportunity to be in the ring with them. And Sabu pulls me aside. He's like, hey ref. He's like, did you have tacks in your hand? I said, no. He said, why were you doing that? I was like, because I was putting over the tacks. He thanked me. He's like, what? He's like, I can't believe you would have thought of something like that. He's like, no. He's like, you sold that better than anybody could have ever sold something like that. He's like, thank you for making it look good, and thank you for making it count.
From Sabu.
Oh, it was wonderful, and it made my whole trip. And
he wasn't a big fan of the tax.
Mm-hmm.
Sabu was not a big fan of the tax.
Yeah, but I was blown away just how he put me over like that.
What a good memory you got.
That was a good story.
From the legendary Sabu to Big Bobby in England of all places.
Of all places. Yep, I was 19 years old.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Very cool. Yeah, I used to watch it in black and white TV when I was a kid, Bobby.
Yeah, I actually had a black and white TV when I was growing up, but
I did too, actually. I had one channel.
we were
Me
just poor.
too.
So
Me too. Along with those shirts that the Bruiser Brody shirts that we also gave this picture. So you bought the shirt and you get an 8x10 signed by Fonzie. It was pretty cool in black and white. Speaking of black and white, so uh,
Nice. A
it,
lot of
it's been
stuff
it's been
on it.
great to connect with Barbara too. She's been very supportive of everything, like all the
she's a
designs that I've
sweetheart.
done. Yeah, it was awesome, and she asked me to come down next year. So
Oh,
we're gonna
good.
do a, we're gonna do a special edition Bruiser Brody shirt for next year's
In
memorial
St. Louis.
in St. Louis.
Yeah, because
Oh, nice.
I was talking to Herb, who puts on, who's the big guy in charge of all that. He thought he might do something with Sabu, honor Sabu. So of course they want me there for that.
Well,
So I
I'm
might be there too in St.
as soon
Louis
as I
next
get
year.
the date, it's going in my calendar.
Nice.
That is
Yeah,
Yeah,
nice.
so
I
pretty
don't want to
sure
miss.
I'll be there.
Yeah, I don't want to miss out.
No, I appreciate you guys coming on today because I know you guys are both very busy individuals. So I do appreciate you guys. Wow, he's got so much
All right,
stuff.
all right, we're gonna wrap this the show up with this WrestleFest 50 years of funk. Terry's last match in Amarillo, Texas, featuring professional wrestling stars from around the world. Main event: Terry Funk against the Hitman Bret Hart. Mankind versus Sabu, managed by Fonzie. Jake Roberts and the Headhunters versus Hayabusa Tanaka and another Japanese guy, I can't pronounce his name. Dory Funk Jr. versus Rob Van Dam. Tommy Dreamer against Shane Douglas. The Bushwhackers against Jay and Mark Youngblood. The Sandman's Balls Mahoney. Japanese Girls. Chris Candido and more. Roadkill. So that was a pretty cool card to be
Is it
to be a part of.
is that the show that Dennis Stamp refereed the main event?
You know what? I don't see his name on here, but Dennis Stamp was a Northern Texas and one of the Funks guy, Dennis Stamp. Yeah, I know that name really well.
That
Yeah,
was off on what was it? The
Beyond the
documentary.
Mat.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Yeah.
During my tape trading years, I got a tape trade for that a VHS of that show. I had a really shitty quality one.
Can you imagine? That's how we got our info from tape trading and there was in the dirt sheets once in a while. Dave Meltzer and they came out with the dirt sheets, but that's how we got all our information from the wrestling magazines.
That's how
Uh,
I got. That's how I got a lot of my wrestling like knowledge was from tape trading.
yeah,
I
My
got
whole
mine from
ECW late library came from tape trading.
I got mine from the magazines when I was a kid, and then I had to spend money to get the ins and outs on how to get to training schools and all that stuff back in the
right.
mid '80s.
And that's how it was back then. That's how you got the
Yeah.
information. Now you can pick up a fucking iPhone and fucking know what's going on and who had what at the Revere Steakhouse in Japan
Right?
yesterday for
That's
dinner.
too much, Fozzie. That's too much. I don't want to know all that.
Right,
I don't like the spoilers. I like to be entertained.
right. It's called sports entertainment, Daddy.
Mm-hmm.
Vince wanted to take it was Worldwide Wrestling Federation. Vince wanted to take the word wrestling out of WWF, so it's Wide World Entertainment now. No more wrestling, it's sports entertainment. So I go to a party. My wife's a nurse, and a really high dollar nurse. A big time nurse. So we go to a Christmas party, and there's all kind of doctors and stuff. And finally, we're all chatting and we're having cocktails, and there's a party going on. And finally, it gets around to me. I'm dressed really nice, but I'm the oddball. I don't look like one of the doctors and shit. Finally, they say, well, what do you do for a living, Fonzie? And I say, well, I'm in the sports entertainment business. And they say, sports entertainment, what's that? And I say one name. I don't say Ric Flair or Dusty. I say the word name Hulk Hogan. Everybody knows that name. So, Hulk Hogan, now I'm the life of the party. They want to be around me and hear stories about, the road and the wrestling and stuff. But before that, I was, they didn't know who the fuck I was, but once they found out I was in the sports entertainment business, which everybody loves in a certain way, uh, then that was the life of the party. My wife says, Fonzie, it's about us, not you. I said, okay, baby.
But honestly, they should already know who you are, though.
Well,
Realistically,
my wife's conservative, and she,
I understand.
uh, they found out.
Just bust out the whistle.
And
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I do got my whistle.
Oh my God! Thank you guys so much. And
Thanks for having me on. And Bobby, I'll be talking to you. Call me later if you want, Bobby.
Absolutely. I'll give you a
and
call.
I will have like all the information to get a hold. If anybody wants shirts from Fonzie and Bobby, I'll have stuff I'll link it and I'll keep sharing it. And when you guys have more new stuff, I will always share it on my site. And Fonzie, next time, Foz, we'll talk about some more stuff, man. You can come on anytime. You have an open invite anytime you want, brother.
Very cool, very cool. And I think I can fill in some time for you, that void that you have there and entertainment. And hopefully we doing all this, we can create a little revenue because, showing these shirts and now they know where to buy them and so on and so on. All you wrestling, all you Bubba fans out there, take these shirts out because they're not going to last long and they're one of a kind. So we'd love for you to have one.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Bobby, once again, thank you.
Thank you,
Fonzie,
Bubba.
thank you. Thank you so much. Everybody, you have seen and heard from Fonzie and Bobby, and they are selling shirts, and we will have it linked. And I just want to, hats off to something that they're doing, and it's something great, and it's something to the wrestling community, and God bless the wrestling community. Guys, thank you guys so much for coming on. Everybody, have a great night, and we will see you on the Triple B Experience. Good night, everybody.
Alfonso saying so long from the Sunshine State.
God bless.